Hirana kalia potokurshi hemoto. Hiranaya tokurani kimaya takaya tata. Mohotaya vishitanya kalia potahashaka. Hirokomati hariamukode. Ishtaya mukupala karanda krusha hyarata. Dashtavakrodalya pototonaya takaraya takaroshai shai shai shambakrutanyata. Nihayana kalapata karaya shava 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 karana hala hiro grundai. Makarabate shitakalaya moto krutaraya ya tatayato. Ya pata kalamingiro taya takalaya butara kareni. Hishtavakarana. I am here now. I am here now in this moment of peace, love, joy, truth, understanding. The finality of my decision to be God's grace is my moment of peace. The finality of my decision to be God's grace is my moment of divinity. I am now this moment of divinity. I am now accepting myself into the grace of God's consciousness in all things divine. I am now accepting myself into this moment of peace, into this moment of truth, into this moment of divinity. I am now accepting myself into the consciousness of all things. I am now accepting myself into the consciousness of God's grace in this moment of truth, divinity, and peace. I am now accepting myself into this moment of God's consciousness, of God's grace, of God's truth. I am now accepting myself into this moment of peace, knowingness, right? Consciousness, truth. Everything we are is everything we have ever been. We are the consciousness of God's grace. We are the consciousness of God's truth. We are the consciousness of God's divinity. We are feeling God's divinity flowing through us in every moment of every day. We are the divinity of everything we've ever known, everything we've ever seen, everything we've ever felt. We are so conscious. We are so divine. We are so loving. We are so pure. We know God's grace within us as the grace of all things. We know God's grace within us as the grace of truth, of consciousness, of peace, of divinity. We know that the grace within us is the grace of all things. We know that God's consciousness rests within us as the grace of all things. We know that as we aspect ourselves out into consciousness as the grace of all things, we are giving ourselves the peace, the quiet that we need. We are giving ourselves the peace and the quiet that we need. Our minds are disturbed because of energetic consciousness that's going on around us. Our minds are disturbed because of energetic consciousness that's disrupting our peace. Our minds are disturbed because of energies that are outside of us, that are not within us. Our minds are disturbed because we have not seen the pure essence of our truth self, of our true being, of our true energy within ourselves. So why does the mind get disturbed? Why does the mind get unrestful? Why does the mind become not at peace? Why does the mind become disturbed? So today we're approaching an inquiry about anxiety, right? Why does the mind get disturbed? Why is the mind uncomfortable in this place right now? Why is the mind not comfortable just being, right, in itself, with itself, as itself? Why does the mind get uncomfortable? Why does the mind not see the grace, the truth, the infinity that rests within us as us? Why is the mind uncomfortable? Why is the mind not seeing what needs to be seen? Why is the mind not accepting the divinity within us as the truth of all things? Why is the mind not accepting what it wants to be, right? Truthfully, honestly, right? The consciousness within us is the consciousness of all things. Why is the mind not accepting that within us? So let's look at what can be happening when we're in a state of panic, when we're freaking out, right? When we're in a state of anxiety. What is happening within us? What is happening within the body? What is happening within the psyche? What is happening within consciousness when the body is not comfortable, when the mind is not comfortable, right? When nothing feels comfortable within the body may be shaking, the body may be upset, the emotions may be overdrawn into another place of reality that is not our own. So what is happening within us when we aspect ourselves as anxiety into consciousness? What is that? So we look at ourselves and we look deeply within our being. Can we look deeply within our being? Is it possible even to look deeply within our being when these anxious feelings are arriving? Is it possible even to look within ourselves when these anxious feelings are present? Is it possible even to see within our own true dwelling place, right? When this anxiety comes up, when this fear arises, when there's nothing but anxiety, when there's nothing but fear within our bodies, what are we seeing? How are we feeling? How are we looking? What does it feel like? What does it look like when you're in an anxious state of being? How are you consciously aware of yourself when that anxiety kicks in? So are there moments when you can see yourself more deeply than other moments? Are there moments when you can see yourself in a more aware state than other moments? Are there moments when you can expect yourself to be more divine than in other moments? Are there moments when you can actually see yourself as divine? So let's focus in on those moments that might make the awakening of the consciousness within us a little bit more easy. Those moments that might make the awakening within us a little more pure. Those moments that might make the awakening within us a little more findable, right? So let's look. So what are you feeling right now? Are you anxious, right? So bring a calmness into your situation. Just bring calmness, okay? So we're here right now. We're here right now. Let's bring the calm energy, the soothing, calm energy. God's grace flowing through us. The energy of consciousness around us. God's grace is accepting us. God's grace is allowing us to be free of all unconscious acts, all unconscious knowingness. We are allowed to be free right here in this period of peace in our beings. Where is the anxiety dwelling now? Does it have a place within the body? Does it have a place within the body? Do you see that the anxiety is not really even there? Allow that calm space of peace overcoming you now to overcome that place in you that is anxious. Allow that calm space of peace that is within you now to start overcoming that space within you that is feeling anxious. Go deeper into the anxiety of your true self, right? Go deeper into the anxiety of your true self. Where is that anxiety existing? See yourself as divine. See yourself as pure. See yourself as truth. The truth of all things is your divinity within you now. What is the anxiety telling you? What does it have to say to you right now? Listen deeply. Listen deeply to the conscious voice that is within you. What is the anxiety speaking to you right now? Does it have a voice? Can it speak? Allow the anxiety to be heard because you want to be seen as the truth of all things. And this anxiety is heard through your true self. Allow the anxiety to be heard. Is it speaking to you with a voice of truth or untruth? Is it speaking to you with a voice that wants to be heard loudly and clearly? Is it speaking to you with a voice that says, ouch, I'm hurting and I need to be seen and heard? Is it speaking to you with a voice that says, ouch, I need to be seen, I need to be known? What is the voice within you speaking to you now? Allow it to be heard deeply from the true self within your divine being. Allow your anxiety to be heard. It is speaking a voice of consciousness to you now. Allow your anxiety to be heard, okay? Allow this anxiety to be seen, to be heard, to be experienced, to be known. The anxiety within you can be seen, heard, experienced, and known to know you better. So we must know you better, right? We must know who you are. We must know why you are here, what you are doing, and what your experience is right now in this earth plane. We must know who you are, why you've come here to be divine on this earth plane, and what you are doing with your divinity as you speak the words of God's grace within your own true being. Is the anxiety being heard by you now? Can you hear the voice of sanity coming through this space of your voice within your true self now? Expect the anxiety to be telling you the truth of all things. Expect the anxiety to be telling you the truth of who you are. Expect the anxiety to be speaking to you in a voice that is kind, conscious, alive, and aware. Expect the anxiety to be giving you a clue about what you are doing here on this earth plane. Expect the anxiety to be giving you a voice that will give you more of a say in your own life. Expect the anxiety to be giving you a voice that will allow you to expect your life to be perfect, pristine, divine, loving, conscious, and kind. This anxiety within you is a voice. It is speaking to you about what we are missing here on this earth plane. This anxiety is a voice. It is speaking to you. about what you are missing in your experience, in your consciousness, in your grace in this earth plane. Allow the anxiety to speak to you, to talk to you, to give you the information that you are wanting. Allow the anxiety to pour forth its breath into your being so that you can breathe more freely, see more clearly, hear more divinely. Allow consciousness and grace to be your voice now. Allow consciousness and grace to be your voice now. Allow the anxiety to talk you into the place of truth within your being. You are anxious because you have not found your true divinity within your true self. You are anxious because you have not found the truth place of divinity within your own being. You are anxious because you have not found the divinity that rests and dwells in everything, everywhere on this earth plane. You are anxious because you have not come into the space of true divinity within your own true space of peace now. We are anxious only because we have not come into this place of divinity and truth within our own beingness now. Let the anxiety speak to you from a place of truth now. Let the anxiety speak to you from a place of true divinity. Now let the anxiety speak to you from a place of the dwelling of God's grace, of God's divinity, of God's peace within you now. You are the divine essence of all things. God's grace rests within you as the divine essence of all things. If you are missing your true essence, your true peace within you, you have seen that God's grace rests within you as you will now energetically awaken that consciousness within you to see that all things are divine within you. All things are divine within you. All things are divine within your consciousness. And grace, we are truth. We are peace. We are love. Allow the anxiety to open up within you. The grace, the consciousness, the truth of your divine beingness now. Allow the anxiety to open up within you. The grace, the truth, the peace, the consciousness of God's dwelling place within your body right now. Allow the anxiety to open up to the true energy of God's grace within you now. Allow the anxiety to open up to the true consciousness of peace that dwells within your body. Now allow the anxiety to open up to your feelings of grace, to your feelings of peace, to your feelings of truth, to your feelings of divinity, to your feelings of calmness, peace, love, energy within your own conscious space. We are here now in this space. Opening up to divine consciousness and divinity within this space of peace. Opening up to divine consciousness and divinity within this space of truth. Opening up to divine consciousness and grace within our own space of truth right now. We are now seeing that God's grace rests within us as the truth of all things. We are now seeing that God's grace rests within us as the consciousness of the divinity of everything we've ever been doing. We are now seeing that God's grace rests within us as the consciousness of all things. We are the truth. We are the peace. We are the love. We are the joy. We are the divinity of truth, of consciousness, of grace, of peace. Your anxiety is only an awareness of your own truth within your own being. Your anxiety is only an awareness of the consciousness of all things. Your anxiety is only an opening up to become all of who you are on this earth plane. Your anxiety is an awareness to become open to the truth of your consciousness, of your grace, of your openness, of your divinity, of your knowingness, of consciousness and all things now. We can now open up to the grace of our being, of our truth, of our consciousness now. We can now open up to the grace, to the peace, to the consciousness of our divinity within our own space of truth. Right now, we are now awakening to that truth, to that peace, to that divinity within our own being. Now we are now awakening to that truth, to that space of peace within our own being. Now we are now awakening to that openness, to that consciousness, to that divinity within us. Now we are now awakening to the consciousness of all things that rest within us. Now we are now awakening to the conscious grace that lies in that truth within our being. Now that anxiety is talking to us. I am the truth of all things, right? That anxiety is talking to us. I am the consciousness of all things. That anxiety is talking to us. I want to be more of who I truly am on this earth plane. That anxiety is speaking to us the words of grace. I want to become my true self. I want to be my divine self. I know I am divine. I know I am pure. I know I am conscious. That anxiety is speaking to us about a grace within us that knows no boundaries, that knows no definitive walls. That anxiety is speaking to us about a grace that resides within us, that knows all things as kind, all things as loving, all things as peaceful, all things as pure. That anxiety is speaking to us from within us as a place of grace that says, I want to know myself as divine. I want to know myself as pure. I want to see myself as the divinity that rests in all things. I am here for a purpose. I have come here to be divine. I am here with a divine intention to be pure in all things that I am doing. I am here because I have gracefully arrived within the consciousness of all things, and I am now allowing my anxious self to be divine. I am allowing my anxious self to be peaceful. I am allowing my anxious self to cut through the walls of ignorance that have blinded me to my true self until now. I am now seeing through everything that has kept me from my pureness, from my truth, from my divinity. I am now cutting through the walls, and I am allowing that divine self within me to be, to see, to know all things as pure. The anxiety is now giving me grace. The anxiety is now giving me truth. The anxiety is now giving me an awakening, an awareness, a purity that I am opening up to in this moment right now. The anxiety is giving me that grace within my own being now. The anxiety is purifying me to become who I truly am now. On this earth plane, I am consciously alive. I am consciously aware. I am consciously peaceful. I am consciously truthful. I am consciously loving. The anxiety is opening me up to that peace. The anxiety is opening me up to that truth. The anxiety is opening me up to that divinity that I am already. I'm allowing God's grace to essentially see me as divine. I am allowing God's grace to essentially know me as the perfect essence of all things. I am allowing God's grace to know me as divine. This is my truth. I am allowing the anxiety that I have felt in the past to be seen as God's grace right now. I am allowing the anxiety that I have known in consciousness and grace right now. I am allowing the anxiety that I have seen within my true space of peace. I am allowing the anxiety that I have heard to be known as God's grace right now teaching me what I need to know, right? Seeing the things that I need to see, allowing God's grace to come through me as the essence of myself. This anxiety is an awareness, it's an awakening, it's a truth calling out from my being to be seen, to be heard, to be known. Yes. The anxiety will give me everything that I'm asking for, that I am reaching for. I'm conscious of my own grace. I'm conscious of my own truth. I'm conscious of my own beingness. I'm conscious of my awareness. I am conscious because God's grace rests within me. I am all of that. I am now free to be me on this earth plane. I am now free to be free on this earth plane. I am now free to be conscious of all things that I am doing. I am now free to energetically aliven myself into the consciousness, into the grace, into the truth of everything that I am doing. I am aware that I am conscious. I am aware that I am truth. I am aware that I am peace. I am allowing this grace within me to be the awareness of all things. I am conscious. I am alive. I am graceful. I am truthful. I am loving, and I am free. I am free. I am free. That's all. We are there. We are that. We are pure. We are truth. We are love. We are divine. We are knowing ourselves as grace. We are in this essence of truth right now. We are accepting God's grace into our beingness right now. We are knowing God's grace as us, in us. The pureness of all things is us. We are pure. We are kind. We are divine. We are loving. We are awake. We are aware. I am conscious. I am divine. I am pure. I am alive. I am truth. I am peace. Miho kuruta. Ishtava karana kala piero kurutana kala haraka. Ishave shave shave kama hleabototo. Aeshe shai shai kima mama kala pototo taraka. Ariata karamata kala yapoporiata ina kala vishave shave shave karana. Le korbati chai 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 kamata. Oma mama. Hirana kali potokurshi emoto. Hiranaya tokurani kimaya takanya tata. Mohotai vishitanya kali mota hashika. Hiroko mati